This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, millions of dollars of harbour improvement work is well underway, but will it be finished in time for the cruise season? We check the blood pressure of some of those charged with running the city as part of a nationwide health campaign. And members of the local police force gathered to remember those lost in the line of duty. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Harbour dredging and other expansion work at Port Otago is well underway. The $30 million infrastructure upgrade is aimed at boosting harbour traffic, but it won't be finished in time for the busy tourist season.
It's another hectic day down at the port. Contractors are deepening the harbour channel and widening the port's berth. They're just two of several projects being undertaken by Port Otago in a bid to accommodate larger vessels.
The ships in the heavy season, January through May, like to load up as much cargo from the good Otago Southland hinterland as they can, and so the more cargo that ships can carry, the more export cargo we can put on those ships.
The port's spending $30 million on the projects over 2 years. It's seen as a vital investment for being a key player in New Zealand's shipping sector.
To be a modern port, modern ports have to cater for bigger ships, and in order to stay within the trade lanes. So we are just positioning ourselves to remain at the forefront of New Zealand's industry.
Several tasks are just months away from completion, including padding the wharf. The work's been smooth sailing to date, and the deepening of the harbour channel should be complete in a little over a year.
Our next stage for our dredging is an extra half a metre to 14 metres by the end of next year. So by the end of next year, with the arrival of the tug and that completing, we'll be kind of wrapped up with these four projects.
The first cruise ship of the season is due to dock on Saturday, but won't affect the workflow. And as the port's expansion unfolds, staff are hoping nothing pulls them under. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
The Commissioner in charge of the Southern District Health Board is firming up a plan of action. Commissioner Kathy Grant has been preparing a plan to sort out the organisation's problems within the next year. In her latest report, she says performance targets have almost been finalised. They'll be discussed at staff forums in Dunedin, Invercargill and Queenstown. The Commissioner acknowledges there's frustration around the SDHB's future direction. She submitted the Health Board's latest budget to the government for approval. The board governing the organisation was sacked by the Health Minister earlier this year. 1 in 5 New Zealanders have high blood pressure and a third of them don't know it. The alarming statistic is prompting a nationwide health drive and is kicking off at an unlikely organisation in the city.
New Zealand's #1 silent killer. These council staff are having their blood pressure tested to highlight the value of getting it checked.
It's really important that people regularly have a blood pressure check and know what their reading is, because everybody's not necessarily bang on the bog standard, so it's being informed.
The Stroke Foundation is holding free blood pressure checks all around the country to raise awareness. Local staff are kicking things off at the council by offering workers a chance to see where their blood pressure sits.
Well, it's the sort of thing you might not know if you're at risk, and there's only one way to find out, and I think it's great that they come here and do everyone, and they do find some people at risk, so it's well worth doing.
High blood pressure is the main cause of strokes, and it's often undiagnosed until a medical event. The Stroke Foundation is reminding people that a blood pressure check only takes a couple of minutes and could be life-saving.
Particularly blood pressure not only is a high risk against stroke, but also other cardiovascular disease. So it's something that people can take self-responsibility for. It only takes a few minutes to get your blood pressure checked.
More than 200 free testing sites are being set up nationwide with help from St John, Rotary and foodstuffs. It's an initiative aimed at catching the signs of stroke before it's too late. Annabelle Dick, 39 Dunedin News.
Police are investigating an incident involving Molotov cocktails being thrown at a house in Momona. The burning items created a small fire in front of the property just after 3 o'clock this morning. The blaze was quickly extinguished and caused little damage. Officers found 2 broken bottles near the property, which they believe were used as Molotov cocktails. People inside the house heard a car being driven away from the address around the time of the incident. Police are appealing to the public for further information. And local police have spent the day remembering officers who have died on duty throughout the country. About 100 people gathered at First Church for a commemoration service. And for one policeman, the occasion was personal.
A passionate performance for the fallen. The Otago Boys and Girls High School's Kapahaka group has been honouring police who have died in their duty. It's for the Australasian Police Remembrance Day held each year.
Often when people are running away from danger, we're the people running towards it. So I think it's really good that we acknowledge that, and I'd like the public to know that we're really committed to it.
About 100 past and present police officers and staff attended the local service. The names of 140 deceased were read aloud, including half a dozen from Dunedin.
It's fantastic to see so many current serving police officers, former members, turn out for the service today. It's magnificent, means a huge amount.
The commemoration has personal significance for the Southern District's top cop. His uncle, Sergeant Stuart Guthrie, is one of those killed on the job.
Stu, as I know him, was the Port Chalmers sergeant. He's also a member of the Armed Defenders Squad, and he responded to the tragedy in Aramoana, one of the first responders there, and he lost his life in that tragedy.
Since the National Police Force was established in 1886, there's been 29 officers killed on duty. Most have been shot dead. A further 38 have died on the job in accidents and from other work-related causes. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, locals rally to keep the current flag, and we find out why the future for a charity building project is looking rosy.
We can't guarantee what people will do once they leave here, but we can sure as hell try to make it better. We're making headways, especially with our offenders going out and the integration between our industries and the outside industries, like the real stuff. Society just needs to give these guys a chance.
Every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
Are you within your legal rights to take one life in order to save another? Welcome to the ambiguities of law. Because whilst the law may be clear, there is still room for both yes and no.
What? No!
The decision will depend on logical thinking and the art of argument. And this is what we learn at New Zealand's first and world-renowned law faculty.
You can stop now.
I'm Latafale, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
It's a very tragic death, a very painful death, a very prolonged death, and certainly nothing that needs to happen.
It's not part of our anatomy that people like to think about that much, but actually we need to.
People don't know the symptoms. About half of people you ask don't know the symptoms of the disease, and that makes them very much at risk of dying from the disease or having a much poorer outcome, because the disease is very curable if it's caught early.
Welcome back. A few City Council staff have been made redundant in a recent restructure. The job losses are within the Council's Information Technology Department. Overall, 15 roles have been cut and 9 new ones created. 3 staff have been made redundant and others have taken up new positions within the organisation. The Council wants to modernise its IT system, including digital services for ratepayers, and some work has already been outsourced by the Council. And on that note, let's take a look at today's markets. The NZX 50 has closed the day down 87 points. It's now at 5,612. The Nikkei is down 610 points. To the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against the Australian, but we are down against the other currencies we follow. A group of locals are joining the nationwide movement to keep the current flag. They've just held a rally in the city, and MC Joe Bond is here to explain the cause. Good evening, Joe.
Hi.
Now tell us about the nationwide movement to keep the flag.
Well, basically, we think that the process for the referendum has been botched and there's no public appetite to change the flag, with 70% of New Zealanders being against a flag change and only 25% of New Zealanders wanting one.
Where did your figures come from?
Basically from online polls, public polls and everything like that. It's just, and everyone I've spoken to frankly has said, oh, why don't we just keep the flag? I haven't spoken to anyone who wants to change the flag, not even to Red Pig.
Okay. What's the level of support locally?
The level of support is quite good. Most people actually wonder why they're changing the flag at all. They're happy with what we've got and they can't understand why the money's being wasted.
Now, you've held a rally recently. How many people attended?
It was quite a small group, but it was a very committed group. It was an extremely cold day. It was raining heavily, and a lot of people from the RSA couldn't make it due to their health. But I think it will grow in time.
What was discussed at the event?
What was discussed was that people have fought in the armed forces under that flag. It's actually a flag of their tribe, to be more precise. People want to die with that flag on their coffin, not any other flag. People have got family that have died in the war. There appears to be a conflict of interest with Red Pig and with the Silver Fern. And just the costs involved with changing the flag have absolutely upset people.
What's the perceived downside of the flag changing?
Just implications of that we have signed a Treaty of Waitangi, and we've signed that with the Crown, and the Union Jack represents the Crown, which they have the Magna Carta, and we have the Magna Carta because of the Crown, and we have the treaty because of the Crown. And so anything that cuts the links between us and them would basically invalidate the Treaty of Waitangi.
Are any other local events being planned?
Not at this stage, but what we are going to do is attend the TPPA rally on the 8th of November. And in that rally, we want as many people as possible to turn up with a New Zealand flag, bunch together and show their support, because I believe there's a lot more support out there than what has actually been shown publicly. A lot of people don't want to change the flag, but they haven't felt moved enough to express that publicly, and I urge people to get out there and do that.
What does the group hope to achieve?
What we hope to achieve is to get as many people as possible to write on their referendum, since we can't have a yes-no question, cross out all the flags and say, I want to keep the current flag. Because by doing that, that's a vote in itself and they do get counted.
And it won't void the form?
Well, it won't count officially, but what it will do is they will count those noting that we want to keep the flag, and that will show how much public support there is and how little support there actually is for the referendum.
Okay. How can others get involved?
Others can get involved by contacting Jasmine Hunter. I have her email address here. It's sunseeker29282@gmail.com. She's the organiser of the rally. Unfortunately, she was too ill to make it today, but she feels very passionately about this. And she would be very supportive. She has lots of things that people can do, from displaying their flag online to coming to things, to baking, petitions, anything.
Okay. Jo Bond from the Keep the Flag group, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, how one organisation's contribution to a building project may benefit the community. And there was plenty of competition on the water at a 3-day championship.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked, money-back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I've found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
McClellan Refrigeration is your one-stop shop for heat pumps in Dunedin. We have a range of heating, air conditioning and refrigeration solutions. We also have 20 years experience. McClellan Refrigeration, call us on 477 0088.
At your locally owned and operated Veggie Boys store, we've got fresh produce daily, fruit, veggies and more. Competitive prices are just one of the reasons people come to us in all seasons. Convenient locations and friendly crew, Veggie Boys Dunedin, come try something new. Stores in the north, the south, be our guest, Centre City as well to serve you the best. Daily specials on produce that are hard to beat, all tasty and healthy and all good to eat. Don't forget, we've also got your milk, bread and meat. Veggie Boys Dunedin, you're guaranteed a treat.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient. Active Furnishers Limited, home of quality service with superior product, and an in-house design team who are always happy to advise and create an imaginative solution for you. Active Furnishers Limited, part of Dunedin's design history.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
So many people don't understand just how prevalent this cancer is.
New Zealand has one of the highest rates of bowel cancer in the developed world.
100 people every month will die of this disease, and a lot of those people are dying quite needlessly.
It's really important to get away from this horrible statistic and to make a difference, yeah.
So we need that to change. We need people to be much more comfortable going to their GP and saying, actually, like, I'm really worried about this.
Welcome back. The latest benefactor of Otago Polytechnic's charity house is in town seeing this year's build. The City Foundation is partnering with the Polytechnic to ensure the yearly project has a future on campus. And the contribution is likely to have a ripple effect throughout the community.
There's lots of work in transforming a house from this into this. Otago Polytechnic's charity house is in the final building stage on campus. The project has a long history and its future has been secured with sponsorship from the City Foundation.
We think it's a great project because it provides practical skills to people, it's very tangible, and it enables people to learn, the students to learn through the process and actually then go out into the community and apply their skills.
The current house is still on campus awaiting auction, with students working on the interior. The beginnings of next year's build is also on site, and both structures show the scope of work.
It's great to actually see the completed project and also see the building, the third one that's under construction at the moment, and see the different phases of the house being built and under construction. So it's really good.
A portion of the money raised from auction is put into the local community each year. Volunteer-based organisation United Way has been involved with the project since it began 8 years ago, and the partnership has had a significant impact.
Over that period of time, something like $550,000 has been invested in the Otago region by United Way because of the Charity House project.
The students involved in this year's build will soon see how their work helps local organisations. Once finishing touches are complete, the house will be auctioned at the end of November. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Almost 200 of the South Island's best swimmers have taken to Moana Pool for a major competition. The 3-day championship event featured members of 30 different clubs and several qualifying opportunities made for a fierce contest.
Diving headfirst into the competition. About 190 young swimmers have been vying for glory at Moana Pool for the South Island Swimming Championships. It was their opportunity to put months of intensive training to the test.
These guys are training anywhere from up to 5 to 15 hours a week in the pool, as well as dry land, which is sort of gym as well on top of that.
The junior level competition drew entries from 30 South Island swimming clubs. The majority of participants were from Canterbury, but Otago was also well represented with swimmers from Dunedin, Cromwell and Queenstown. And each competitor is hoping to progress in the sport.
So they're trying to qualify for the national meets, so you go from the South Island meet into national age group champs, which is next March, April.
The competition structure has changed from previous years. Organisers and coaches altered the format to prepare young swimmers for higher level competitions.
We raced finals and heats in the morning, where the swimmers had to swim fast to make the finals in the afternoon, and then they have age group finals in the afternoon, so the swimmers have to come back and swim faster again in the afternoon. So it's more along the formats of international meets and national meets, so that younger swimmers get used to the idea of having to swim fast in the morning and faster in the afternoon.
At least 5 South Island records have been broken over the 3-day competition. Organisers say it's a good sign of what the future may hold for the passionate young athletes. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Port Otago's $30 million upgrade is progressing well but won't be finished for the cruise season. City Council staff are having their blood pressure checked as part of a nationwide campaign to reduce the rate of stroke. And local police officers are remembering colleagues who've been killed in duty with an emotional service at First Church. Well, it's time now to find out what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Daily Times, and Phil Somerville is with us. Good evening.
Yes, hi Rebecca. We've got a story tomorrow about the really big historic house on Highgate. No one's formally lived in it for 20 years and it's a treasure trove of old things and interesting things, so look out for that. Fresh pages tomorrow, 3 of those. There's the Jude Hathaway's looked at the Zonta Extraordinary Fashion Show last week with pictures and stories, and there's the usual recipes and columns, and I wonder how many of the viewers know that Thursday is World Vegetarian Day, so there's some vegetarian recipes. The Highlanders, the confirmation of their trip and details to Hong Kong, we've got stuff about that, and the editorials dealing with these people being sent back from Australia and the strain on trans-Tasman relationships.
It's a bit of a story, interesting story, that one, isn't it?
It is.
Thanks, Phil. That's tomorrow's ODT. Time now for local weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Puff Plus.
Today's city view is taken of cars on Stewart Street. And around the city at 3 o'clock today, 13 degrees for the central city, 12 for the gardens and 15 for the Tyree. To the situation, and a northerly airflow is developing over New Zealand as an anticyclone moves away. A trough of low pressure will spread over the country tomorrow and Thursday. It's followed by a strong westerly flow. So to the forecast for the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. Rain later in the day with nor'westers for Invercargill and Gore. Rain all day in Tiana with nor'westers, and just a bit of high clouding increasing in Alexandra with nor'west winds, 17 degrees there. Nor'westers and cloud increasing in Queenstown, Wanaka and Twizel. Northerlies for Oamaru with a bit of high cloud. Highs are between 15 and 17 degrees. And Dunedin tonight mostly fine with a low of 6. Tomorrow nor'westers with high cloud increasing, a high of 16. And on Thursday, cool sou'westers roll in early, but it will remain mostly fine, and westerlies will freshen in the afternoon, 16 degrees also. And to the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information, high tide tomorrow morning is at 6 o'clock, low tide follows at 1:45. And fishing conditions still look a bit rough, so we advise you leave the rod in the garage for now. And that is local news for Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.